How's it going, everybody? I had some free time today, and Bitcoin is at a very important point in terms of the higher time frame stuff. So, what better time to make a video? And I know it's been a really long time, so I'll start with a recap of what I've been looking at. So, in my last video, I mentioned that ETH actually looked really good. It came down to a very important point. I would consider this blue box like the most important support on the macro. I did find something below it, but I don't really like this blue box as much as the one that we already hit. And ETH was looking pretty bullish around those lows. We got a market structure break, we formed a range afterwards, and then we broke up from that range. Just in terms of the way that this low formed, I was looking at this thinking we could get a move to the upside, and maybe we see a bit of a role reversal where ETH is the one pushing Bitcoin up and not the other way around. Or maybe I shouldn't say that, ETH is necessarily pushing Bitcoin to the upside, but it's more so that ETH actually had the macro bottom signal, the divergences on the low, the market structure break, the, move into the refined support zone, whereas Bitcoin did not do any of those things really. We front ran major support. We didn't really see many good divergences on that low. We came down and front ran that low, which, this last move down towards that low is a main reason why I do not like this low as a major low. It's not often that you see Bitcoin front run, not only a major support zone like this, but then you front run the low that front ran it. So, you basically left all the longs from that low intact. We didn't take out any liquidity. We didn't hit stop losses below that low. So, yeah, that's the reason why I'm kind of saying that ETH is leading the dance here, because it, actually did something significant before getting a bounce. And I still do think that this low for Bitcoin sucks. It's a poor low, and I still think it has potential to be taken out. At this point, I recognize that we are ranging on a high time frame. We went from one high time frame range over here, we broke down from it, and then we started forming another range. The reason I'm looking at this as a range is because we have basically been SFPing lower and lower. We haven't seen, a strong break like the break out of this previous range. So, the SFPs are low and the kind of sideways price action, makes me view this as a very obvious range. And Bitcoin has gotten a move up to the range high. We are currently sitting around the range high. We're forming a local range after taking out the range high. We're kind of sitting around some important resistance and at a, a very important decision point. That decision is, are we going to continue breaking up past this range high and past the resistance that's right above it, which I think would be a very bullish sign. That would be a sign that, although there is resistance above us, there's a much better shot at getting a move to all-time high, even if the low down here sucks. Or are we going to break the range to the downside and, possibly only retrace a little bit into the range before making another higher low, maybe just coming back up to the range high to, continue trading the range? Or maybe us breaking this local range to the downside is what causes us to come down and take out that poor low and finally hit this key support area. And we can see on Market Cipher that we did form divergences as we took out the range high, momentum divs on the daily time frame. And as we go down, those divergences become more apparent. We have money flow divergences on the 4-hour along with the momentum divs. So yeah, we're clearly seeing some weakness as we're hitting the range high. And we are also seeing that weakness in the price action as it's kind of starting to curl over. And, the way I prefer to look at this is we are starting to range at a very important point, which isn't always a sign of weakness, but it's usually better to, just blast through these range highs if you're going to break them. That's more of a confident break, is if you just immediately break through it rather than ranging on a high time frame right after taking out the important range high. And, we are seeing some bearish things within this range. We got divergences, and on a lower time frame, we are also starting to break some market structure. We got a, what I would call a 3-hour, maybe 2-hour or 1-hour break. And I think this is the first break of the midterm time frame market structure that we've seen. We took out, what was maybe a 30-minute higher low back here, but it was kind of, more of an SFP, a quick move below. Then we came back down to SFP to low once more. This I would call a pretty clear break, because on the 3-hour, we took out the higher low and have just been plummeting since. So we've clearly gotten a strong break here, a very strong close, a close far away from the break of structure line. But we are also still in a higher time frame uptrend. I think if you're looking at the daily, or maybe it's more clear on the 12-hour, we have a higher high, higher low, and another higher high, which we did close above multiple times, multiple candle closes. It's not looking like a terrible continuation of this uptrend, but if you're comparing it to the last break that we had, which I would say was down here, higher high, higher low, and then the break over here. This was a much more aggressive break, a much stronger break. And you don't even need to take out the measuring tool to know that, but taking it from the break of structure line to that close, that was like an 8% move, whereas this one is much less than that. But regardless, we still can make a higher low with this structure pull. So maybe this low time frame structure break is just to retrace before making another higher low and making another attempt at this more local range high, which did, by the way, front run resistance. So this is a reason why I think we may come back up to this range high. And this kind of brings me into some of my trade ideas on the lower time frames, because I am looking to trade this stuff. I'm potentially looking to position myself in, shorts if we end up breaking to the downside, but also, if I can hold some longs from a higher low, maybe that is the long that ends up breaking above resistance. So, I could be looking for swing trades in either direction, but they are going to start as range trades, ones that I, take profits on, lock in profits, put my stop loss to entry, and then if it ends up running, it ends up running. So because we have been moving to the downside for so long and we are approaching support, I am looking for long trades. I think even if it's only lower time frame confirmations, and we did just get a bearish break over here, we may just disregard that bearish break for the simple reason that we are in a higher time frame uptrend. So maybe the lower time frame confirmations are what ends up making the higher low, but I have to manage these trades as if I'm expecting a lower high because of the 3-hour structure. So I am looking for scalp longs at the moment, and I'm also going to be watching price if and when it moves to the upside, because I may be looking for shorts if we end up showing signs that we're going to make a 3-hour lower high. Those are kind of my most immediate ideas. Of course, I am looking for trades above this local range high if we get bearish signs. That was a position that I moved over from, way over here. I was looking at a more local idea, but this would probably be more of a swing trade. At least I would most likely have a larger stop loss on it. And I think, if I don't get into a short trade prior to us breaking this range to the downside, although there is support relatively close to, where we would break this range to the downside, we have the value area high plus the back test of this daily lower high, and the resistance to potential support flip that we could have in this area. I think if we break below this daily high or low, this area would be my first zone of support, and I would probably want to go down to the lower time frames to see if there's anything here, but for now I'll just kind of draw a broad box and say that this area would be my first support zone. So although there's support, pretty close to where we will break down, I think if we do break down and there's not some like high time frame bullish sign in here, like if we kind of just get a move into here and then start immediately pulling up, that to me would most likely look like just a retrace before continuing down. Because if we break daily structure here after taking out the range high, and considering the fact that I do not like this low down here, I would probably be feeling pretty bearish at this point. And I think the only way that I wouldn't be feeling that bearish is if we, got to move down into here and then ranged for a long time before seeing something bullish as we, broke back up again. So yeah, if we break the range to the downside and then quickly get a retrace, I will definitely be watching price and looking for short confirmations. And I don't think anything below this box really matters at this point because we're far away from ever getting down there. So it's not worth looking at and talking about right now. We may not even visit these areas down here. Maybe we just end up breaking higher here. So I think for the analysis, I'll leave it at that for now. And I've been recording for a little bit here, so I think I might just leave it here. I hopefully would like to make some follow-ups to this and see if I can actually enter some trades that I enter while I'm recording, so I can kind of go over the process of that. I do want to do a lot more live trading, and I do have an idea for a series coming up that will allow me to do that. I want to get back into posting the content more regularly, so I'm looking for more ways I can do that. But for right now, that is it. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, consider leaving a like, subscribing, leaving a comment. I appreciate all the support. Helps my channel to grow, and it means a lot. And I will see you all in the next video.